What's up, guys? So this is a new style of video where I'm going to be essentially reading through my Substack article and adding some nuance and maybe some stories and some different ideas throughout. But essentially, this video is going to be reading this Substack article. And yeah, I would recommend subscribing to my Substack. It's where my most in-depth writing will be if you just prefer reading over listening. But I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you like to watch or listen. So you don't necessarily need to even watch the screen for this video. Put your phone in your pocket, go on a walk, do whatever you want to do something else, do the dishes, laundry, whatever. So this will serve as essentially a podcast, but um, I'm going to be here talking through the ideas in this newsletter and yeah, we'll rip it and we'll see how it goes. So, the title of this newsletter is the Frequency and Focus Reset. And so, the idea is how to instantly recalibrate your vision, realign with your highest frequency, and realign with your highest self identity to your highest expression and highest timeline. So, we're going to go into some quantum physics, we're going to go into some parallel universes, we're going to go into some reality creation, reality transurfing type of principles throughout this article. And it's going to be very practical for you to apply these 5 steps that I'm about to tell you into very actionable reset protocol. And so the reason I wrote this article, as we can see at the top, is I have moved around a lot over the past few years. Since learning how to make money online, I've gone from Chicago to San Francisco to Buenos Aires to Costa Rica to Austin to Thailand to Hawaii. I didn't even mention Peru. I didn't even mention Malaysia. There's been more. Um, and I've stopped multiple times back in Chicago in between legs of this adventure. And right now, I'm back in Chicago. And so, what I've done this past week after returning from Thailand to Chicago is I've really taken intentional time to reset my focus, reset my systems, realign with my vision, crystallize my self identity, and reset my goals, systems, and habits to match that highest timeline. And so, as an exercise, I wrote this article to reflect on how I do that so you can do it yourself. So I'll keep reading through. Every time that I move, I need to reset my systems, order my mind, and narrow in on my priorities. I don't really feel grounded or back in the flow of life until I've put things in order mentally, physically, and spiritually, which we'll get into in this article. The sooner I put energy, intentional focus into resetting myself and my life, the faster I get back into the flow of creating positive momentum and creating positive focused progress. If I avoid taking time to reset my focus, I end up floating around in no man's land with no clear vision, no clear goals, and no clear systems, which is not a fun place to be in. I stay in this aimless state until I actually sit down and run through the following exercise, which I'm about to tell you about in this video. So, in addition to the steps I'm going to outline in this video, another good thing to note is that, like, whenever you feel like you're in a funk, whenever you feel like you're in a rut, whenever you don't feel focused, you don't feel like you have clarity, you're not making a lot of progress, and you don't have momentum, simply coming back to the fundamental personal development, self-improvement, and wellness habits is always a great idea. So if you can just say for a week, 1 week, especially if your habits have fallen off track, dial in your diet. Dial in your workouts, dial in your sleep, do saunas, do cold plunges, walk outside, journal, meditate, read, sleep well, stay sober. These things are always going to help because, as we'll talk about, the level of clarity in which you feel every day is directly tied to how clear your energy is. And by clearing out all the bullshit and just coming back to the fundamentals, you begin to realign this energy with the clearest version of yourself. So, myself, I've tended at times to overlook these foundational behaviors, right? They seem so simple, they seem so boring, right? Sleep well, eat well, drink water, work out. Like, it seems so boring. I think if you're watching this, you're probably like me, that's very curious about the esoteric, um, spiritual development type of ideas that we can sometimes tend to overlook the foundational things. But I'm going to tell you that the foundational things are really the 80/20 everything, right? The esoteric, the numerology, the astrology, the signs and symbols and synchronicities, the tarot cards, all those things which are great are like that 20% that really takes you to the next level of consciousness. But to maintain that baseline fundamental level of consciousness, it's the simple behaviors, it's the repeatable behaviors, it's the fundamental boring habits that really aren't boring, right? They just seem sometimes boring to the mind, but they are quite fun if you're present with them. That is what's going to give you the 80/20 of all the spiritual gains, you could call it. So I'll tell you that this week, since I've been back, I have, in addition to everything I just said, working out every day, reading every day, journaling, walking, sauna, cold plunge, sleeping well, I have been completely sober, which has been incredible. I feel very clear. I have no desire to do anything either. I've been offered alcohol. I've been offered weed. I've been offered nicotine, and I don't feel any desire to go do that stuff. Um, and I've also been retaining my sexual energy, which is going to be probably something I talk about more and more as I get more deep into it. Um, for honestly just mental clarity and focus and masculine energy and strength and willpower and control over my own consciousness. So these things I feel better than ever. So don't neglect the fundamentals. They will bring you a long way. So let's get more into this exercise. So it's simple, but it's effective. Um, and you can come back to this anytime you feel like you're stuck, anytime you feel like you're burnt out, anytime you lose vision, anytime you're not focused, anytime you're transitioning to different cities or jobs or in between seasons of life. These 5 steps are really going to help you realign. And so I also, it's worthwhile mentioning, I come back to this exercise instinctively, which is why I even wrote the article because I was doing it already every time that I transition between seasons or return from a long trip and I need to realign my focus. And something else I do is on Sundays is I go through a worksheet called Sunday Systems, which you can download. I'll put in the description, but it essentially looks like this. And then you can just enter your email and you'll get this worksheet to help you plan your week and realign every Sunday to create momentum going into the week. Again, subscribe to me on Substack. It's where I'm doing most of my writing, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So if you're over on Substack, I would recommend subscribing if you're interested. And if you're not on Substack, I would recommend getting on Substack because I think it's a really, really powerful platform for reasons that are beyond the scope of this video. Another quick note is that the Transcendence Sprint, which is a 30-day identity transformation cohort, community cohort with a curriculum, is beginning on July 30th. So today's July 20th. There's about 10 days. And yeah, you can check out the page here, how it's going to work. I'm not going to go into it in this video too much. I also recorded a video with the vision behind it. But if this is interesting to you, I would invite you to join this sprint. Essentially, everybody in this sprint, we're going to be getting as dialed as possible over the next 30 days. It's time to step into the next evolution of ourselves. I'm feeling the pull to take things to another level in terms of everything I'm doing with creating, writing, speaking, building the Transcendence universe, and also playing football. That is honestly at the root of what inspired me to make this cohort. So come join us. It's going to be awesome. Now let's get into this reset protocol. So, step one in the reset is we need to clear our minds through brain dumping. So, essentially, a lot of people have talked about brain dumping, but I want to dive into the reason of why this is so important, not just to do once a week or not just to do once a month or once a year, but to do consistently throughout our days when we notice ourselves getting stuck. So, the root of disorder in our lives stems from disorder in our minds. A cloudy mind is at the root of cloudy goals, messy systems, and distracted behaviors. Before we think about what systems or habits we want to add into our lives, we would benefit from first clearing out all the garbage and junk from our minds. And we can do so with a simple exercise called brain dumping. So brain dumping just means pulling out a blank notes document on your computer or a Google Doc or a piece of paper or a notes doc or a journal on your phone, or even taking a voice memo on your phone and just rambling either through writing or through speaking until you feel like your mind is in a place of order. Think about this type of stream of consciousness, free flowing expression as unraveling the knot that is built up in your mind, and not KNOT, that is. The more thoughts, memories, ideas, and worries and actions that have not been taken build up in the mind, the tighter and more complex that knot becomes. And it can be quite difficult to unravel it, let alone think clearly with the knot present. But through expressing ourselves freely and openly, we begin to unravel the knot of mental junk and straighten it out into cohesive order and mental clarity. And this is why talk therapy, or just going into psychotherapy, or working with a coach often works so well. Oftentimes, and I've experienced this myself, both as the coach and as the client, and as the client in therapy as well, is the coach or the therapist doesn't have to speak more than a few words the entire session. The value in the session comes from the client being able to speak freely with somebody listening without judgments on the other end. So simply through the act of expressing themselves freely, the client begins to sort out their issues themselves just by being able to get it out. They need just that energy to get unstuck. The client usually just needed a container, an intentionally created space, and someone who can listen to give them space to unravel the knot in their mind. So the cool thing is that we don't need a coach or a therapist to get ourselves and our minds in order. They can help, and I would recommend working with them because an outside observer can see things more objectively, and especially one who is trained to look into the subconscious mind and has a lot of experience can offer a very valuable perspective. But we can honestly become our own inner coach and our inner guide by giving ourselves the space to express ourselves fully and having the self compassion to listen as a coach or therapist would from the perspective of our deeper awareness or our higher unconditionally loving selves, right? The unconditional love and non-judgment that we feel from a coach or therapist, we can find that within ourselves. So allow yourself to just ramble. Some things that I like to do are go on a drive and record a long voice note. Like if you have a long 30, 45-minute drive to work or whatever it is, just don't listen to music. Don't listen to any more podcasts or information. Pull out a voice note and just let yourself talk, let yourself speak, right? It's going to be so helpful. You can also go on a walk and talk into your headphones. You can go to a coffee shop, pull out a notes document and just write, just go crazy on your keyboard until you feel clear. Some other people I know like to actually hand journal. I don't do that as much unless I'm really feeling like zen and slow, but I prefer, because my mind works pretty fast, to just get it out either through speaking or through typing on my computer. So it doesn't matter how you do this. What matters is giving yourself the space to clearly express yourself and give your mind the opportunity to sort itself out through the freedom of expression. So the actionable step here, if you want to pause the video, go for it. If you want to write these down to go through later after the video, which is probably what I would recommend, is brain dump journal or stream of consciousness speak into a voice note until you feel clarity in your mind. Okay. The clarity is going to precede clarity of a vision, which is going to precede frequency, which is going to precede action, which we're going to get into later in this video. But the first step is clear the junk and the clutter out of your mind until you feel clear. From here, everything else will be much easier. So now, step two, reconnecting to your vision. So after you do this brain dump, you should be feeling pretty clear. So you probably got pretty clear on what needs to go, what needs to stay, what needs to be added into your life. And you probably got pretty clear on what you need to take immediate action on. You probably are going to feel lighter, more at peace, more at ease, and just clearer overall. So, from this internal place, we want to reconnect to the vision of the life we wish to create in the person we wish to be. I'm going to say that again. We want to reconnect to the vision of the life we wish to create in the person we wish to be. Every action that we take in our life is downstream of, meaning it's coming from our personal identity or how we see ourselves. Our personal identity is directly tied into our vision. When we reset our lives into a protocol like this, we're really resetting our vision and our self identity. So, this is where we're going to be going deeper into some more quantum physics, some manifestation, some reality creation, some metaphysical laws, which is really exciting stuff. I feel pretty excited to share this stuff, but it's going to get a little bit more complex. So make sure you're listening clearly. If you're taking notes, dial it in, whatever you got to do. So what you can do in this step when you're reconnecting to your vision is take out a piece of paper or just go into your imagination and begin to think about what it is that you wish to create in your life. Who do you wish to be? What do you wish to manifest externally, which is always a extension of your internal world. So it might be better health, it might be better finances, it might be a more aligned career, romantic relationship, or a home on the beach to share with your family. Just some ideas. So when you're thinking about these things, and we're going to go into the energetics beneath these things in a second here, because the material manifestation is really what comes last. We want to be very specific because the more specific we can be with our manifestation intention, the more specific we can be with the energy beneath it. So use specific language when you are visualizing and stating your manifestation. So instead of saying a broad statement of, I make $10,000 a month, state it more intelligently, more intentionally. State it in the way of, I easily, right? We want to make it easy, not hard. I easily make $10,000 a month by working on insert your creative passion, insert your creative project, being your authentic self, working for 3 hours a day by having space to flaneur and create and work on what you love. So you want to get very specific and insert specific projects or creations into the statement because the more specific you can be, the more specific actions that will emerge from this frequency. The vision that you have just created will form the foundation of your personal identity and will begin to shift you into a higher vibrational timeline. Okay, we're going to talk about timelines and parallel universes here in a second as well. But from this higher self, which is your highest frequency, which is your higher vibrational timeline, the actions you take in each day and each moment begin to shift with the shift in your identity. Example, if your vision is to be in incredible physical shape, have visible abs, be able to run 10 miles, just for example, and you're currently overweight, it will become obvious how your actions will begin to shift to match your new reality, which is your new identity. The key to staying consistent with those actions is changing and transforming on the level of your identity. Everything in your life is downstream of how you see yourself. If you see yourself as this fit person, how you order something at the coffee shop and what you order, what podcasts you put on in your free time, what music you listen to, the clothes you wear, the people you talk to, everything will begin to transform to match your new self image. I can say myself, in my current reality right now, I have shifted into I'm a starting quarterback of a college football team. That's the reality that I'm affirming to myself and that I'm creating and that I'm living in. When I was a traveling backpacker around Thailand last year, I did not identify as an athlete. I identified as a spiritual seeker, a writer, a creator, and somebody who was just very open to life, very like looking to expand and be free. So from that frequency, it didn't really matter if I smoked cigarettes. Oh, everybody's smoking cigarettes. This is kind of dope. Like, I'm not an athlete anymore, so like cigarettes, I can just smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, and I don't eat as much, and then I stay skinny, and then I look healthier, and then all this stuff, right? Because my identity was that of a traveling hippie backpacker, which I wouldn't change for the world. It's dope. It was awesome. The action of smoking cigarettes became obvious. It was like, oh, I don't care. I'll do this. It doesn't matter. However, now that I have stepped back into the identity of I'm a quarterback, I'm an athlete, and I'm not just a quarterback and an athlete, I am the best quarterback in the state, in the country, in the conference. Now, the idea of smoking cigarettes feels misaligned. I don't even want to do it. I feel repelled by it because I know it's not aligned with that highest frequency and highest timeline. And the same goes for the time I go to sleep is already transforming to much earlier. The food I eat every day, I know it's fueling me for my next workout, which is also fueled by the identity. So the point is, the level at which you see yourself will form the action. And if you don't want to live from force and discipline, which there is a time and place for, but if you don't want to live from force, I should say, of like restriction, force, I'm not going to allow myself to do that. What we want to do is get to freedom of choice. From freedom of choice, I am choosing to become this person in this reality. I've seen it. I want to become it. It is mine. I'm going to go take it. From that perspective, it's freedom of choice to say, I don't want the ice cream. That's okay. I don't want the joint. That's okay. I don't want to go drink. No, that's okay. Like I'm more inspired to wake up tomorrow and work out. Like that's what feels better to me. To get to that place of freedom of choice, you have to see the reality you want to create and choose it. Not choose it out of should or to impress anybody else, but because it is what you feel in your heart you are destined to be, and what you are wishing to be, and what you want more than anything else. So, this is why the vision is so fucking important, okay? If you don't have your vision, after this video, or even pause the video now, whatever you feel, sit with yourself, go on a walk, whatever your journal, until that vision is clear. Who do you want to be? What do you wish to create? What is the life you wish to create? All different aspects, okay? There's something else here I'm going to pull up. Kind of like this screen recording thing because I can just show you things. And if you're only listening, I'll tell you what I'm showing. I'm writing another article and I'll post this video as well about the 7 aspects of self-actualization. So if you're not looking at the screen, what I have here is kind of a 7-sided heptagon or septagon. I don't know what the shape would be called, but there are 7 aspects of yourself that I could see to self-actualize. So you have your divine self, your spiritual self, the part of you that is one with God and looking to fulfill God's purpose for you, the athlete in you, the lover in you, the friend, kin, which is family, commerce, which is business, and your creator side, your creative side. And so the vision you have for your life should encapsulate all 7 aspects of this chart in some way. Ideally, the vision you have for your life is so big that it encapsulates all 7 of these. Okay. So the vision that I have for my life is to build something called the Transcendence universe, which is going to be in person, which underneath that I know I want to become my most athletic self. I want a romantic partner to be a part of that experience. I want my friends to be able to come into this container and build it with me. I want my family to be able to come to the retreats or come to the place in Thailand or whatever it is. It's going to be part of my business. It is fueled by my creativity, and I know uh, it's aligned with God. So, for your vision, for your life, can you think about these 7 aspects or 7 dimensions? Essentially, can the vision be holistic? Can it encapsulate multiple areas of your life rather than just $10,000 a month, which might lead you to say, fuck it, I'll order McDonald's, fuck it, I'll smoke cigarettes, fuck it, like I'll manipulate people and cheat people and I won't leave my house, whatever it is. If you can make that vision all encompassing to your holistic development and holistic self actualization, it will fuel every aspect of your life. So think about your vision. Let's continue on here. There is a model from David Hawkins, and it's taught in many spiritual teachings of the be, do, have model. So most people live from the reality of have, do, be. And so that means, okay, now I have the job. Now I can do this thing on the side, and then I can become free. When in reality, reality does not work that way. Reality works in the inverse way. First, you be the free entrepreneur, creator, builder. From the frequency of being, you will do the appropriate actions and then you will have whatever you want. So You attract that which you are. Your actions are downstream of who you see yourself to be. You can't outrun your frequency. If you try to live only from doing, you will live from force. If you wait until you have something externally, you will not ever change internally. You must change internally and become and see yourself as that who see yourself as the person you wish to be first, which will fuel the actions which will eventually manifest in material reality as things that you have. We're going to go deeper into this in a second, but the actionable step for step 2, if you want to write this down, is visualize your imagined future. Define who you are being in that future. Step 3. This is the most important part, I would say, of the video. Imagine the feeling. This is the most important part of visualization. Visualization without feeling is mostly empty. Feeling is a force multiplier for thinking. Reality manifests to a greater degree when there is feeling on top of thinking. You want to actually feel the reality you are envisioning in all of your 5 senses. So when you are visualizing your ideal reality, don't just think it, right? Because reality is more than just thought. It all is mental, but reality is all that we can perceive with our 5 senses. It's what you can feel, it's what you can taste, it's what you can hear, it's what you can smell, it's what you can see. It's the emotions running through your being as you are experiencing the reality. So the more senses we can bake into the mix, the more likely this reality is to manifest. So what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? It might be a weird question, right? You're trying to manifest, I want to make $10,000 a month and live on the beach with a beautiful girlfriend and amazing friends. That sounds pretty fucking awesome. What does that smell like? What does that taste like? What does it sound like, right? These are probably not things you have thought about, but you could probably start to imagine, wow, I would love to be tasting like some fresh fish on the beach. Or like I would love to smell the ocean. Or I would love to hear drums or music on the beach playing in the background. I would love to be able to feel myself hugging this girl or playing football with my friends on the beach, right? The more senses we can bring into the mix, the more likely it is to manifest. If you can imagine it, you can feel it. If you can feel it, it will become true. Now let's get a little metaphysical here to help drive this point down. I was very excited to write this. It was very fun. I didn't know I was going to write this, but it came through me. Your subconscious mind does not know what is actually reality. What is a dream state or what is just a visualization? There are theories out there that the mind picks up what is a sliver of the infinite parallel realities in the quantum field at once. This sliver is what we experience as real life or reality. So the graphic that I have here, and if you're only listening, what I have is there is one line that splits into about 10 lines. And one of those lines that splits off is still blue, while the other ones are white. And the one that is blue is what we perceive as waking reality. This is just one sliver or timeline in the infinite parallel realities in the quantum field. So when we dream, when we go into a dream state of consciousness, we aren't limited by physical dense matter, and so our consciousness or our mind can travel further and faster to more abstract slivers of reality in the quantum field. This is why you can be across the world in an instant, or imagine you're playing a sport with friends, and you fly through the air at a rapid rate, something that is not actually going to happen in physical reality. Things are more limitless in the dream state because you're not limited by physical reality, the density of that reality. It can become more abstract. Now, when we visualize, we are, in a sense, merging the imaginary dream state, the limitless state of tapping into different alternative spaces in the quantum field or different timelines in the quantum field and the denser waking state of material consciousness. We are essentially trying to merge them. You have the imagined reality, you have real reality. How do we make these intersect? That is the essence of manifestation. So, and to go off this chart a little bit more, what we experience as waking reality is just one sliver in the infinite timelines of the quantum universe. And this is what reality transurfing talks about as well. It's like the the realities that we experience in our dreams, who says they're not real? They're just different slivers of the infinite parallel universes, or they call it the alternative space that we are able to experience. And what we are trying to do with manifestation is tune into higher vibrational alternate realities that are already there in the quantum field because space and time do not exist. So the reality you wish to manifest already is there. All you have to do is adhere to that reality by matching its frequency. So when we're visualizing, similar to a dream state, our consciousness can actually, quote unquote, fly to further away slivers of reality in the quantum field. But because we're still awake and in control in our visualizations, we can direct our consciousness via our free will to an imagined sliver of that quantum field. And again, in the quantum field, space and time don't exist. So when we imagine a sliver of the field clearly and feel it in every fiber of our being, we're in a sense remembering a future that we have not yet experienced in our waking reality. The reality that you visualize exists as a certain frequency or a rate of vibration in the quantum field. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Remember this. To help us understand this, imagine you in your current reality are vibrating at an arbitrary number of 500 units a second. Okay, that number doesn't mean anything, it's just for the sake of example. In your imagined future reality, you vibrate at a rate of 1,000 units a second. In this higher rate of vibration that you are tapping into, higher frequency, higher level of consciousness, however you want to say it, the higher energetic rate of vibration manifests physically in physical reality as more money, better health, better love, more sex, more friends, whatever it is. But instead of putting our attention on the physical outcome, like most do, which is just the money, just the health, just the relationship, we want to instead direct it to the frequency, the energy underlying the imagined physical outcome, aka the emotional vibratory state. So, to recap this, the imagined future exists as a frequency that is vibrating at a higher vibration than our current reality. So, the things that we want in that imagined reality are just byproducts of a higher rate of vibration. So, if we can elevate our vibration, which is why feeling these things in our body is so important, and then living from the feeling is so important, that is what will manifest in our physical reality. So when you visualize, don't focus on the material manifestations only. Focus on the energetic and the emotional states underlying the material outcome. Feel it in your body. What's the reality doing to the change in your body language, your chakras, your hands, and your feet? So, what I mean by this is when I visualize myself on the football field this season, my posture straightens instantly. My solar plexus turns on. I breathe deeper into my nose. I feel my body light up. I feel my body strong. That is the imagined reality of me on the football field. And if I can feel into that now, I'm not only going to be more prepared for that reality, but what I imagine to happen in that reality is more likely to become true. So when you think of this reality, what happens to your body? Watch your body. Your body's going to move on its own. Your feet, your hands, your chakras, your body language, what happens? Okay. Can you then connect it to an imagined smell, taste, sound? What are you going to see in this reality? The more senses you bring into your visualization, the more likely your vision is to manifest because there is a more energetic coherence across your entire bioenergetic system to the imagined reality. My dog is barking, so hopefully you guys can't hear, but if you can, it's okay. Material reality, this is where we get metaphysical again, and then we'll bring it back down to earth. Material reality is the last of reality to manifest because it is the most dense. Mental and spiritual reality precede material manifestations, meaning that if you alter the vibratory state, material manifestations take care of themselves. This is why focusing on the feeling underneath the material manifestations during visualization is key. So here I have this graphic for anybody that's watching, and if you're not, the graphic is essentially an upside down triangle with the top being energy, which is just pure consciousness, pure potentiality that has not manifested into form. Then there is vibration, which is an idea plus a vision, the frequency, which is thought plus emotion, coherence, which is adherence to that frequency or staying consistent with that frequency and vibratory state. And then eventually, this crystallizes into physical reality. So if we reverse engineer this, we want this physical reality to manifest $10,000 a month, six pack abs, whatever. What is the frequency and vibration of that reality? What's the energetic, emotional state of that reality? And then how much can you stay coherent to it? That's how it will manifest. So the actionable step from step 3 is go feel your imagined future. Feel who you're being in that future. And now let's move on to step 4. Reverse engineering a goal, a system, and a day. I don't know what this is, but they're pretty good. Recess mood drink. It's got like magnesium, L-theanine, lemon balm, magnesium L-threonate. Feels pretty good. All this talking make my mouth dry, but we will proceed. Okay. So now that you cleared your mind and you visualized and felt your ideal future, it's time to bring this down into daily repeatable steps. So now think about this. If you were already the person that you wished to be, how would that version of you live his or her life today? What projects would shift to the forefront of your priorities? What goals start to emerge and become apparent? Which daily actions become non negotiable? What begins to shift in your daily flow or schedule? As you think about this, outline these 3 things. What's a priority goal? What's a weekly system? So, what is everything you would do in a week to accomplish the goal? And what is a daily flow that knocks off everything in the weekly system? So what I like to do, and I have a screenshot here for those who are watching, is I like to outline my system first in a list vertically, and then I put it into a graph or table so I can visualize the entire week. So what I have is I outlined a daily flow from the frequency of my imagined future self, right? The version of me who is writing books, the version of me who is building a business, the version of me who is has a readership on Substack, the version of me that has YouTube audience watching my videos, etc. So that frequency preceded the list of these are the things I would like to do every day and every week. And then I put it into different work blocks. And then depending on the day, these work blocks get knocked out and I'd like to put them into Google Calendar and things like that. But you don't need any fancy software. You don't need any crazy program. You can just use a Google Doc or an Apple Notes like I did, or a sheet of paper to outline your systems and daily actions, okay? Because another issue with manifestation and visualizing and all these things is we get so clear in our mind of who we're supposed to be, but then we don't have any direct practical action to take during our day. And we don't stay disciplined to that future self because we don't have a system or habits or a workflow to stay accountable. So this is why you need both. You need the spiritual, you need the practical, you need the big picture vision, you need the daily system. They all flow together. Also, whatever you write down for your first system is not going to be your final version. Realize that it's going to be an iterative process, especially when you're creating a system from the imagined future self, because that is going to evolve, that's going to move. But by writing down an ideal system from the frequency of the ideal self image, now it becomes your daily work and devotional practice to adhere to the frequency by staying disciplined to the system. So, in other words, when you stay disciplined to the system that you create from yourself, for yourself, you stay disciplined to your highest frequency and your highest self. Your work, your daily habits become your discipline to stay coherent to that frequency. And then it is only a matter of time before your material reality manifests. So, actionable step from step 4 is write down a priority goal, a weekly system, and daily actions that match the frequency of your imagined reality. And now we move to step 5. And we're going to recap all the steps here at the end, but let me run through step 5 for you. This is also a very crucial step. This is the coherence to the frequency that I was talking about. This is staying aligned. So now we have to stay in the frequency through self-reflection. The most common issue with most visualization or manifestation techniques is that after the meditation is over, life pulls us right back into our old frequency. We check our phone, we start going through notifications, we see that email, we start going on Instagram reels, we start scrolling Twitter, and we completely forget who we imagined ourselves to be only 5 minutes ago. So the question becomes, how can we stay in the frequency of our highest selves? In other words, how can we stay in a state of constant remembrance throughout our days, remembrance of who we know ourselves to be? There are tactics and tricks you can use to remind yourself of who you wish to be throughout your day. So, some things that I've done in the past are set alarms on your phone every hour, have reminders in your calendar of who you wish to be, put vision boards and sticky notes around your house or your workspace to keep you inspired and motivated. But these tactics are cool. Don't get me wrong. They can be a little bit of a boost throughout your days, but we want to focus on the 80-20. We want to focus on the meat and potatoes, the most calorically dense portion of frequency adherence instead of just little supplements like the examples and techniques I just used. So the 80-20 of all of this, of all spirituality, of all manifestation, of all high frequency behavior is conscious awareness and presence. When you're present, you remember. When you're aware of each breath that enters your lungs, you remember. When you're immersed in what you're doing and who you're being in each moment, you remember. The more you remember who you know yourself to be, the more you will live in the frequency of the higher self. So even as you're listening to this right now, try to become as present as possible. I'm doing it as I'm speaking. Presence is a practice, and the more we devote attention and awareness to the practice, the better we get at it. That's why it's a practice. Now, dedicating time to daily self reflection is also very crucial and very beneficial to adhere to this frequency. So, through meditation, through journaling, through yoga, through long walks, you can create space and intentionally devote energy and attention into reconnecting with the highest self. But we want to be able to stay connected to this highest self even outside of our dedicated meditative type of blocks. This is when presence and remembrance become a part of your being, your default state, who you are, and not something you need to force with some type of daily system. The daily system is great. I would recommend it. It's something that's very important. But if you can live in a state of remembrance and conscious awareness of who you know yourself to be, you don't even necessarily need to devote time to these things. At the highest levels of presence, life becomes meditative. When you're conscious and aware, you're either watching yourself at each moment or you're beyond the self in a flow state. So when you're aware and you're awake, you notice when you fall out of the frequency of who you wish to be. It's very difficult to accidentally scroll TikTok or Instagram reels for 3 hours when you're actually watching yourself with conscious awareness and remembering your highest self. Let me say that again. It's difficult to accidentally scroll Instagram reels for 3 hours when you're watching yourself with conscious awareness and remembrance of your highest self. What actually happens when you accidentally scroll Instagram Reels for 3 hours is that you fall asleep and you forget who you are. You forget who you are wishing to be. So the more you stay awake, the more you stay aware, the more you stay present, the more you will consciously remember who you are. The alarms, the sticky notes, they can help. They can definitely help. The group chat, the Transcendence sprint is going to help. I promise you that. But the more you can stay present in each moment, which the seat of that really is your breath. And I would recommend watch my friend Nick Sweeney's YouTube videos or just read his Twitter or do anything. I'm going to show you because I think it's so valuable. Okay. This is the guy. Legend. Okay. This dude is fucking dialed. And he's going to teach you how the breath is the seat of conscious awareness and presence. Every single moment, if you're aware of your breath, you're present. You're connected to God. You're connected to your highest self. Other practices that you can use to stay in this highest frequency are breath work, like I just said, prayer, like really praying to your highest self, praying to God, sitting with emotions instead of running from them or sedating them with weed, with Xbox, with TikTok, whatever it is, with porn, whatever. Sit with those emotions, let them run their course. That is how you grow in strength. Hit the gym, read a book, reconnect to your curiosity. That's a big one for me. Play an instrument, go dance for 5 minutes, go sing for 5 minutes, go play a sport outside, or just simply go leave your house and go somewhere that is exciting to you. Go to a cafe, go to your favorite restaurant, go walk around the park. Those things are going to really help you stay in a high frequency. The truth is that you're going to know exactly what to do when you listen to your intuition. Your body and your inner voice will speak to you in subtle ways. They're going to guide you to the frequency of your highest self. I'm going to write another article and make another video on intuition training. So stay on the lookout for that, of how your intuition is really going to speak to you and how to connect to it and where it's going to lead you. So here's the recap. Recap. 5-step frequency reset protocol. Step 1, brain dump journal or speak freely to clear your mind. Step 2, redefine and clarify the vision for the life you wish to create and the person you wish to be. Step 3, imagine the feeling of this vision becoming true. Step 4, outline a tangible goal, system, and a day from this frequency. Step 5, stay in the frequency via constant self-reflection. Now, let's finish this here. Remember that everything in the universe, including you, is energy, frequency, and vibration. When you feel stuck in a rut or in a transition period, realize you are experiencing stuck energy. So, what can you do? Feng shui your living room and your workspace. Basically, what this means is clear the energy. You can look up what this means if you're curious. I did it yesterday, it felt great. Shave and clean up your appearance. That stuff definitely matters for how you see yourself. Throw out the old clothes, delete the old documents, clear your phone, organize your workspace. Get the energy moving through movement, breath work, dance, or somatic release. Brain dump journal, like we talked about, record a stream of consciousness voice note. Personally, I love doing a sauna and a cold plunge or a cold shower. That wakes me right back up. Okay. It feels great. The essence of resetting our lives is to reset and clear out our energy. Here's a little bit of a poem almost that encapsulates this. The clearer your mind, the clearer your vision. The clearer your vision, the clearer your identity. The clearer your identity, the clearer your actions. The clearer your actions, the more flow you experience. The more flow you experience, the more enjoyable life becomes. At the core, we return to our highest vibration and highest timeline by clearing out stuck energy, reconnecting to our vision, and aligning our imagination with our highest selves. The 5 steps we just outlined will definitely help. So be sure to bookmark the article on Substack, bookmark this video, save this video, like this video, do all those things so you can access it again when you fall out of your highest frequency. Also, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, let me know if you like the style. Let me know if you think it's something I should continue doing. I found it quite fun, and I think it's quite interesting. Um, so yeah, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm gonna be posting videos like this. I'll be posting short form videos. Subscribe to the Substack, like the video, comment what you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, all those things. Um, and yeah, if you feel like a friend would like it, feel free to share it with them as well. And just as a final reminder, there are 10 days from the time of recording this video until the Transcendence Sprint begins. So if you want to join us, this group we have together to unlock your next evolution of self, stay adhered and aligned with your highest frequency, and clarify the vision of the life you want to create, and stop waiting and fucking step into it. Okay, that's the energy that I'm giving to myself, and I will also be giving to you, as well as Will, who's the other performance coach in there. We're going to be on your ass. We're going to hold you accountable to the person you want to become. You should join us. That is the Transcendence Sprint, and this will be linked below, and you can find it here. Some other things, if you want to work with me one-on-one to create your reality and adhere to your highest frequency and unlock your highest timeline, there will be a link below to book a discovery call. There is a community called Sovereign Creators, which is going to be around creating internet money, getting paid to become yourself, and creating on the internet and growing on the internet and building a network, friend group on the internet. It's a school community. It looks like this. Um, there's a whole curriculum called Internet Freedom in here, which is pretty fucking dense. There's a lot in here. Um, Something else to note, when you join the Transcendence Sprint, this is only available for this sprint, you will get lifetime free access to Sovereign Creators. This is the only Transcendence Sprint where this offer is going to be available. Something else, we will be running a 2026 Thailand expedition, March 19th to March 30th in the southern islands of Thailand, which are going to be fucking sweet, okay? Fucking sweet. You can reserve an early bird spot for about $1,000 off, more like $900 off here. And if you want to do a one-on-one call with me to look at your numerology, to look at your astrology, to look at your human design, and I'm going to channel and tap into some psychic gifts, 5D reality, etc., feel free to book a reading with me here on this page. These links will all be below. So thank you for watching this video. Much love, much gratitude to you. In essence, visualize and feel the person you wish to be. Live in each moment as if you were that person. Trust and have faith that reality will catch up. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Peace.